Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Wednesday, February 21st. We have all you need to know about a fraud case involving a Penn State student, as well as updates on new flights from the State College Airport.
We also have more on a fatal shooting in Indianapolis, along with entertainment, sports, and weather. Stay tuned.
Thanks for joining us tonight for PSN News. I'm Shannon Tanczos.
And I'm Courtney McGinley.
A charter school with a program based off of a conservative Christian college could be making its way to State College in the next several years. Hillsdale College has been growing its network of charter schools recently, with critics saying the curriculum minimizes racism and is politically motivated. Mark Parfit, one of the organizers, stated that the charter is not affiliated with the college at this time. The long-term plan is for the school to be open for kindergarten through 12th grade students, but will only teach 6th through 12th grade for its first year.
Penn State's Osman Laboratory is getting a makeover. The $115 million project will include the construction of a 48,000 square foot addition to the existing structure on Pollock Road. According to the university, the new space will feature cutting-edge research lab spaces and a high bay research facility for the physics department. The project will also update existing outdoor spaces and lecture halls, as well as the construction of a stormwater management detention structure to improve the handling of runoff. Construction is expected to begin in March.
A Penn State student was charged with the theft of over $30,000 for personal benefit from the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. Timothy Omotaiga allegedly used the names and information of others to apply for financial assistance in 7 states from May 2020 to May 2021. Omotaiga plans on pleading guilty to a count of wire fraud and will pay nearly $60,000 in restitution. A Penn State spokesperson said the university may take student conduct action in addition to the charges filed by the Justice Department.
Travelers in central Pennsylvania will soon be able to get direct flights to an international airport in Washington, D.C. The State College Regional Airport announced that beginning June 27th, it will offer direct flights to Washington Dulles International Airport for the first time since the route shut down during the coronavirus pandemic 4 years ago. Executive Director of the Centre County Airport Authority, James Meyer, said this change will open up more opportunities for passengers. These flights are offered through United Airlines and are already available for booking. With only few days left until State Patty's Day, what can we expect for the weather? Filippo Formoca has the Campus Weather Service update, and let's take a look.
From the students of the Department of Meteorology and Atmospheric Science, here is your Penn State Campus Weather Service forecast.
Good evening, PSN. I'm student meteorologist Filippo Formica here with your Wednesday evening forecast. Taking a look back on Beaver Stadium today, it was pretty cloudy to start out, but as we got into the afternoon hours, those clouds started to clear, and it looks like a freeze frame of Beaver Stadium, but not a cloud in the sky, before some high clouds started to roll back in for the late afternoon, early evening hours of the day. And those clouds are going to continue to roll into the Commonwealth overnight ahead of our next storm system for Thursday. Mostly going to be rain, but some areas could see some wintry precipitation before some warmth coming for next week. Some spring-like warmth and maybe even a spring-like storm system along with it. Taking a look back on our high temperatures today, very warm in the western third of the Commonwealth, 58 in Erie, 59 in Pittsburgh. Very high for this time of the year. Compare that to the eastern 2/3 of the Commonwealth, staying right near our average temperatures for this time of the year. Philadelphia, 47 degrees, State College, 43. And much of those temperatures were pretty uniform east of the mountains. So taking a look at those temperature departures, 22 in Erie, 18 in Pittsburgh. Really, really warm for this time of the year, especially since they got pretty close to 60 there in Pittsburgh. I would not be surprised if some areas just to the west got up to 60, maybe even 61 degrees. Compare that to the eastern third of the state, where those temperatures were right around our average for this time of the year. Taking a look at the bigger picture for the Commonwealth here, some cloud cover down the central spine of the Commonwealth, and some cloud cover starting to roll in to the western third of the Commonwealth as well. Maybe some sprinkles in the northwest portion of the state, but overall pretty clear in terms of that rainfall. But that will be changing. We have a storm system off to our west. This is going to be scooting into the Commonwealth here and the region as well over the next 12 to 24 hours. But right now, it doesn't look like a lot of precipitation, but this is going to tap into some Gulf moisture, bringing that Gulf moisture up into the region. So as we take a look at this storm, time it out here, some winter precipitation in the northern third of the Commonwealth. Early morning on Thursday, that will be sticking around. Those temperatures going to be just around freezing, so those winter precipitation amounts will be fairly higher in the northern tier of the Commonwealth, maybe even some areas of the Poconos and the Laurel Highlands as well. Mostly rain for the Commonwealth here as we move into late on Thursday. You can see some of those blues and pinks starting to pop up here, showing some of that snow and sleet in the area. But this storm system will quickly move out into Friday, and a cold front behind it will be bringing in maybe some snow showers to portions of the state before we start to clear out for our weekend. So taking a look at those snow totals overall here, we're going to be seeing very light snow totals across the Commonwealth, less than an inch all across the Commonwealth, and maybe even our highest here, 0.2 inches, not very far off from some higher amounts wherever you have those higher elevations. So could be seeing some of the higher elevations getting maybe even an inch of snowfall in some spots. So tonight, just some clouds starting to roll in here, but partly cloudy overnight, 29 degrees, a little chilly, but that south wind will be helping for things to warm up over the next few days. Tomorrow, maybe some winter precipitation to start off here in State College, but again, mostly rain as we move throughout the day. And our 7-day forecast, again, we start to warm up as we get into the latter half of this month here. 49 degrees on Monday, 52 on Tuesday, 60 degrees in our forecast here for Wednesday. But we could be seeing a spring-like storm system moving in for the latter half of this forecast here. Wednesday, there is a slight chance that we see some thunderstorms with our setup here for this next storm system that we're watching. This weekend, though, 33 degrees is going to be our lowest of these high temperatures, but that quick period of cold is going to be followed by this very nice warm-up, a big change of pace as we head into meteorological spring, which starts on March 1st. So that is all I have for today, looking like a pretty good forecast here coming up. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys again soon.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Matt Cabram with your sports update. We kick it off on the court with breaking news from Penn State basketball. Coach Mike Rhodes announced on Monday the dismissal of leading scorer Kanye Clary, who ranked 7th in the Big Ten this season. Clary, a sophomore and a 3-star recruit, did not travel with the team to Nebraska over the weekend. Rhodes did not disclose the reason for Clary's dismissal, but said the team will move forward and focus on the task at hand. Clary's last game with the team was a loss to Michigan State on Valentine's Day. The Nittany Lions are preparing to host Big Ten opponent, the Illinois Fighting Illini, tonight at Rec Hall. Over in Pagula Ice Arena, Penn State took down number 14 Michigan in a 4-2 win on February 17th after dropping Game 1 last Friday night. Michigan struck first early on a TJ Hughes goal, but a pair of Nittany Lions goals from Reese Lawback and Dylan Grand put them ahead early in the third. Wolverines' Frank Nazar III evened things up at 2. 4 minutes later, Dane Dowiak gave the Lions a 3-2 lead, where Lawback later plotted his second goal in the empty net to seal a 4-2 victory. Penn State will host number 6 Wisconsin this weekend with their final 2 home games. In national sports news, the 2024 NBA All-Star Game saw the Eastern Conference dominate over the Western Conference, sealing a 211-186 victory on Sunday night in Indianapolis. A new record was set as the East became the first team to break the 200-point mark in the All-Star Game history. It beats the previous mark of 196 set by the West in 2016. Milwaukee Bucks guard Damian Lillard lit up the court, scoring 39 points with 11 three-pointers, earning him the MVP title. Lillard's achievements also marked a rare feature as he joins Michael Jordan as one of the few players to win a contest on Saturday and take home the MVP trophy on Sunday. That's all for your sports update. Coming up next, Marielle Reese will bring us the latest from around the world of entertainment. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Marielle Reese with your entertainment update. Penn State Center Stage opened their show Urinetown last night at the Playhouse Theater. Urinetown is a Tony Award-winning musical satire on the legal system and capitalism. The cast is led by professor and director David Kersnar and music director Darren Cohen. Students can catch the show until March 1st. For additional information and tickets, visit the Penn State Center Stage website. The 12th annual Rock the 80s concert benefiting the Bob Perks Cancer Assistance Fund is this Saturday, February 24th at the State Theater here in downtown State College. The concert will feature many local bands performing popular music of the 80s. Former cancer patient Corey Donaghy has been performing at this concert every year in order to help the organization that helped her when she was a cancer patient herself 13 years ago. Attendees are encouraged to wear 80s attire and prizes will be awarded to the best solo and group costumes. Tickets are $40 and can be purchased through the State Theater website. This past weekend, Penn State students participated in Thawn, a 46-hour dance marathon dedicated to supporting children and families impacted by pediatric cancer. Reporter Declan Stablo is in the studio with us with more details on the weekend. Declan?
Thanks, Marielle. I had the incredible opportunity this past weekend to speak with Thawn dancers and stage performers. Here's a look. I'm standing here outside the Bryce Jordan Center, where we're just hours away from students packing house for Thawn 2024.
Students have been lined up to get inside the BJC since early Friday afternoon, and even an overnight snowstorm couldn't keep students from filling the stands for Saturday's pep rally. The event wouldn't be possible without the support of countless student volunteers and organizations. But the real stars among the students are the Thawn dancers, who spend all 46 hours and some change at the BJC. I sat down with Julia Smecker, one of this year's Thawn dancers, to learn more about what goes into the preparation. It's a privilege she earned after proving her dedication to Thawn over the last 2 years in her organization, and she was elected last November. Despite the challenge, it's nothing she isn't prepared for.
So I actually stood for 46 hours last year as well in the stands without preparation. So I kind of was, going off of that.
Smecker says her biggest challenge will be not spending too much time watching the clock, but she won't have an issue with motivation due to the support of her organization's 5 Thawn families. Of course, Thawn dancers aren't the only ones with a tremendous challenge coming up.
Thawn also features acts from a number of student performing groups. The Statesmen are an a cappella group that's performed at Thawn for several years now. This year, their performance is at 3 a.m. on Sunday.
It's a long process getting ready for it because you have to, rehearse the songs, you have to drill it in, polish it up, memorize it. So there's been a lot of work put both inside and outside of rehearsal for that.
This year's Thawn raised just under $17 million, breaking last year's record by almost $2 million.
For Penn State Network News, I'm Declan Stablo. You can learn more about Thawn and its mission at thawn.org. Back to you, Marielle.
Thanks, Declan. The 30th Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards will be available for streaming this coming Saturday, February 24th on Netflix. The ceremony's red carpet pre-show is to be hosted by Queer Eye star Tan France and fashion editor Elaine Welteroth. The pair will be critiquing fashion statements by the nominees and attendees. This year's ceremony is highly anticipated after the SAG strike ended last November. The crowning SAG award, titled the Lifetime Achievement Award, is to be given to Barbra Streisand. That's all for your entertainment update. Coming up next, interview anchor Isabel Hulse will be speaking with Anthony Bruno, the former president of the Asset Management Group. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Isabel Hulse, and with me tonight is the past president of the Asset Management Group, Anthony Bruno. Thank you so much for coming in tonight, Anthony.
No problem, my pleasure.
So, for those who don't know, what is AMG?
Yeah, so AMG is one of the finance organizations in the Smeal College of Business. It's a student-run paper portfolio derivatives association. So basically what that means is paper is just hypothetical money, and then derivatives is a type of tool that traders use. In the Penn State Asset Management Group, we use options and futures. AMG is comprised of 6 sectors. So you have the energy sector, the equity derivative sector, index sector, interest rate product sector, the foreign exchange sector, and then you have the metal sector. Those are comprised around 3 to 4 members, so two analysts, 1 associate. Their goal is to pretty much formulate a portfolio to beat their benchmark. So, for example, equity derivatives has the S&P 500 as their benchmark. So if that goes up 5% during the semester, their goal is to beat that 5%. They do that by pitching 4 times in the semester. They have 2 group pitches, so everyone together, so the 3 members, and then there's 2 solo pitches for the 2 analysts. It's great exposure for the younger members to pretty much practice speaking in front of the group, around 50 members, and it sets them up when they go to the internships, which you have to pitch. Just be accustomed to that. The group votes on that, and then that's pretty much how we formulate the portfolio. In order to get into AMG, you have to go through a 6-week course known as the Penn State Derivatives Association. That's where we teach about technicals, behaviorals, and markets. Teaches about professional development, networking skills. So we encourage students from all backgrounds to come to that, because no matter if you're a finance major or you're an art major, you're going to need how to go through an interview and network. So I highly recommend going out to PSDA, whether you're a finance major or not. After that, you go through an interview, and we take around 10 to 15 members per semester.
Awesome. So how did you hear about AMG?
Yeah, it's a great question. So my story is kind of unique because I'm a senior now. So when I was here, it was COVID. So online classes, there wasn't that much exposure to great organizations like AMG. I was lucky enough that one of my friends from home, from Staten Island, New York, because Joe Palermo was in AMG. He recommended I come out. During the time, the director of PSDA, his name was Chris Thawn, he's at StoneX now, was teaching about derivatives and all these crazy terms that completely went right over my head. But just the culture is what really struck a chord with me. The win-a-day mentality of AMG, just having that chip on your shoulder coming from Penn State. Getting these top internships is something that I really set myself as a goal. So I went through the 6-week course, luckily did well, got into AMG, and that's when I began as an analyst in the interest rate product sector, and then was promoted to the associate of the same sector. Then I was a director of PSDA, so it was a full circle moment, same role as Chris, and then I became the president the following semester.
Awesome. So how did you know that you wanted to become president?
Yeah, it's a great question. To be honest, I really didn't when I first started. But throughout my life, I've been in a lot of leadership roles. I was a captain of my sports teams in high school, so I like being, the person that's, guiding the team. But AMG is something special, and I was proud to be a part of it, and I wanted to give back. So once I got my internship offer, I knew that I want to continue to give back. A lot of the juniors and seniors, once they get their internships, they could just, pretty much, quote unquote, leave the organization. However, I wanted to give back. I had a lot of great plans. Being on the executive board as a sophomore and junior allowed me to have some great ideas, see how it works, and once I ran for it, I luckily got it, and then it was a great decision, and it's one of my proud moments.
Yeah, definitely. So you touched on your internship. Did AMG help you get that?
Yes, definitely. I don't think I'd be sitting here if it wasn't for AMG. AMG teaches, like I mentioned, about the win-a-day mentality. A lot of these internships that we go for on Wall Street are harder statistically to get than getting into Harvard. So it's super competitive. However, we strive for high networking skills, and then the course that we teach in AMG and PSDA is definitely super tough. So during this interview process for Citigroup where I interned, I did super well because of the background I had from AMG. Without that, I don't think I would have been able to perform as well.
Awesome. That's super cool. So is AMG a Penn State organization, or does it go beyond that?
Yeah, so AMG is a Penn State only organization. We're actually, don't quote me on this exactly, but I think we're one of the only derivative clubs in the country. Mm-hmm. So like I mentioned before, going back to the last question, it's something super niche, and we could speak about that during interviews, and it makes us as Penn State candidates unique in the interview process for Wall Street banks.
Awesome. So being president, what was a week to week like? So balancing your schoolwork and also doing AMG.
Yeah. Definitely super tough, but we have meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 7, and then we also have our PSDA meetings on Mondays. So 3 days of the week, I had an hour allocated, so Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I pretty much had to operate the schedule for the meetings, who was pitching, what we were going over, what lessons we were teaching, and then I also would have have to typically present those lessons. So balancing it was definitely tough. It's like taking on an extra class or two, but I was so passionate about it that I kind of really didn't think about it, and it worked out well.
Do you have any tips for anyone who is looking to join AMG?
Yes, of course. My tip is just go out there. Penn State has a ton of great opportunities. It's such a big school. We have the largest alumni network. So once you're here, nothing's really going to be handed to you. My grandfather always said, winners make it happen, losers let it happen. So be a winner, go out there, explore some things that, find your niche, and then eventually you'll find what you want to do and you'll succeed at it. I mentioned before, AMG is not only for finance major, business majors, so come out to PSDA, you'll learn a lot about yourself as well as your networking and your professional development stuff.
Awesome. So I know that the Penn State alumni is very big. How is the AMG alumni?
Yeah, great question. It's expanding. So when I first started, there was about 80 people that come to PSDA meetings. Last semester, there was around 300. So the alumni network is continuing to grow. We have 16 members, 16 of 16 got full-time jobs. So class of 2024, we'll have 16. And then the class of 2025 also has a ton of 100% interns. So that's expanding to grow. So I would say now we're touching around 50 to 60 alumni.
That's super awesome. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for coming in tonight and telling me about your experience with AMG. Stick around because coming up next, Shannon and Courtney will have the latest news from across the nation.
A Wisconsin Pizza Hut manager was shot and killed after his employee learned about a $7,000 inheritance check he received. Alexander Stengel's body was discovered in a trash can behind the restaurant on February 7th, and Pizza Hut employee Thawn Ingram was arrested 4 days later. Ingram faces various charges, including first-degree intentional homicide and armed robbery with use of force. He is being held on a $200,000 bond, and he will be back in court on February 23rd.
Texas police have stopped the search for an 11-year-old girl who vanished last week. Audrey Cunningham's body was found in the Trinity River on Tuesday night. She was last seen waiting to catch the bus in Polk County, Texas, and never made it to school. Don Steve McDougall is being charged with capital murder for Cunningham's death. He lives in a camper behind the Cunningham residence and even participated in the search. He was denied bond.
The civil fraud case against Donald Trump and the Trump Organization has come to a decision after the trial ended 5 weeks ago. Trump has been ordered to pay nearly $355 million, along with millions of dollars in interest on that money. The former president additionally cannot serve as an officer or director of New York corporations for 3 years and cannot apply for loans from any financial institutions registered in the state for 3 years. His sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, also have to pay $4 million each for personal profits. Trump is looking to appeal this decision.
5 are injured and 1 is dead after an early morning shooting Monday at an Indianapolis Waffle House. Officers were sent to the restaurant shortly after midnight after learning someone had been shot. Homicide detectives said the incident started with a disturbance between 2 groups that escalated to gunfire. The Indianapolis Marion County Forensic Service Agency is collecting and identifying evidence. Anyone with additional information about the shooting is encouraged to contact police. Now that concludes our show tonight at PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a great night and stay safe, Penn State.